Welcome once again to our continuing YouTube video series on business and investment opportunities and trends. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal. And in this particular YouTube video, we're going to be discussing the opportunities that appear to be becoming available with respect to the heavy equipment leasing side. Now, if we direct our attention back to a previous YouTube video where I discussed the opportunities that seem to be on the horizon following the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, I'd spoken about the opportunities that are seeming to emerge based on trend lines towards a very major push in both Canada and the United States with respect to the construction sector, largely on government-backed public sector, public-private partnership infrastructure work. So if we take that trend and we look at that and we speculate from that area as to where there are opportunities that might also arise from there, one of those opportunities is necessarily going to be on the heavy equipment leasing side. And we say that largely because if there is this push towards heavy construction on infrastructure and a major drive towards it by government, then we need to be looking at how to optimize the opportunities available. And one of those opportunities would appear to be, and this is still speculation, that there's going to be an excessive demand for heavy equipment. And that heavy equipment is going to have to be shuttled around both countries to meet the demand that the industry is going to need to satisfy these opportunities that are going to be paid for by public funds to get their entire economies up and running to the degree that we anticipate. So if you're going to be looking for equipment, these companies that are going to be undertaking the construction, they're necessarily going to be needing to move in a very fast and rigorous pace towards undertaking the construction, because everything in the construction industry is relative to time. The faster you can complete the project, the more efficient it is, the more profitable it is. So in turn, the benefit to the contractor, the primary contractor, is to engage as much manpower and equipment as possible to complete the project in the shortest period of time, and thereby optimize the profitability of the particular project, and also to move on to further and subsequent projects. In turn, when you look at that, it creates the opportunity for heavy equipment leasing. And why do I say that? Is because most construction companies would rather prop up and get more contractors working without necessarily making the heavy investment immediately on getting too much equipment. Instead, what they would look to do is to lease the equipment as opposed to acquiring the equipment permanently. That is speculation. Again, nevertheless, it is a common trend as companies move forward. And because it is going to be government-driven, financed, we're going to be looking at trying to push things forward as fast as possible, and therefore taking on these projects which might not recur. And you want to move as quickly as possible and potentially get to the second and third project that the government provides and drive on with equipment usage. So what do you need to do if you're going to get into it? Well, first of all, one of the key things on heavy equipment leasing is that you need to have a very strong contractual position with respect to these major contractors. The contractors are going to be demanding the equipment, but you need to protect yourself and insulate yourself. And unless you know the specifics of what's demanded of the contract, you could get yourself into a lot of trouble by not having the appropriate contract that reflects concerns with respect to many heavy equipment leasing companies out there, or lessors as they would be called, as to how you protect yourself with respect to contracting these opportunities out, protecting yourself, and also ensuring that your protection of your equipment and the maintenance of your equipment is correctly taken care of. You want to have those baselines, you want to have the maintenance, you want to ensure that maintenance is being done throughout the process so that, yes, there might be some minor wear and tear, but at the end of the day, if anything's possible, especially when you have second-hand equipment that you acquire from the auction block, that your equipment is in the best possible shape it could be. And hopefully, if it's done right, the equipment is in better shape than when it was actually went out to service with the particular lease, because you include a maintenance and service component to the whole process such that you are undertaking, or you're getting the appropriate individuals to undertake the maintenance and service of that equipment to such a degree that the equipment is being maintained at such a high level that it's addressing any technicalities associated with the equipment that you have and putting it into a better functional position going forward. A lot of this is going to be reflected in your contractual arrangement, and it starts off with having a very strong and powerful contract that you're able to rely upon and utilize to get the most out of this arrangement, so that as you're moving through this period where there's heavy demand and the government is financing a lot of this, the contractors can come in, they can agree to your terms and agree to a very rigorous and heavy standard of servicing and maintenance of your equipment, such that you are effectively paying down your equipment cost, if you hadn't bought it outright, gaining considerable profit off of it, and at the same time bringing your equipment into a position where it is in its best possible shape, all things considered, coming through this process, such that you can move on to the next contractual arrangement and continue to utilize that equipment and have good, viable equipment, have had a strong contract so you can protect yourself against any issues as far as legally can be done and contractually can be done with respect to the contractor, and get the most out of the arrangement and make this a very profitable enterprise for yourself. So I hope you found this YouTube video informative. Naturally, as always, any opportunity is fraught with challenges and has requisite demands in it. But given where the trend lines are going, there definitely would appear to be a lot of opportunities available in the public sector infrastructure construction field. And one of those areas where you can see a lot of opportunity is in the leasing of heavy equipment to this sector that is going to be driven by all this money that's going to be flowing into the sector from the government, so as to take advantage of the opportunity and to profit from it as companies move forward. Naturally, you got to be cautious at all times. You got to dot all your I's, cross all your T's, because there are definite issues that are attendant with this. There may be players that get contracts that shouldn't really be getting contracts, and you don't want to be the one holding the proverbial bag when those companies go under. You want to protect yourself in those situations. Protection is going to be absolutely critical, because you're going to then be potentially in trouble. You're going to have a hard time, maybe not the hardest time, but still you have to gain your equipment, but then you also have to gain on your charges back. So I hope you found this YouTube video informative. Look for more YouTube videos, and if you're looking for matters pertaining to the legalities, the contractual arrangements related to heavy equipment leasing, please do not hesitate to contact ourselves, and we wish you all the best in the pursuits of these business and investment opportunities. Thank you.